Hey, what's up guys? Got a quick design tip for you today. This is something I wish I had learned earlier when I was starting on design. But did you know that when you're designing human figures, you can create detailed hands without having to create a whole flap for each finger? You just have to be creative and prioritize which details are the most important when it comes to the hand. For example, let's say you're left with this as the end of your arm, and you want to make a hand out of just these two pleats. Well, here's how we do it. So let's say I want to make them with the right hand. And let's say for this figure, like, I don't really need my fingers, they're just kind of all together, and then there's a thumb. So something kind of like this girl, right? It's just a thumb and a hand. How do we go about doing that? Well, let's start with the thumb. So we can use one flap for the thumb because it's detached. And then we can fold it out to the side. Now, just with this rectangular area, we can create all we need from here. We don't really need to create 4 individual fingers, we just need to create like some pleats that have the illusion of fingers. But we don't really need to separate the fingers, so we just hold them together. So, one way we can do that is we can just create a, first let's create a horizontal line, because to separate the palm from the fingers. So let's create a roughly horizontal line here, and this kind of crimp thing. Alright. From there, we can go ahead and use tweezers and just create a bunch of vertical pleats that will represent our fingers. So there's one. There's another. And now, if this is not dual color paper, I would normally just go like this. But since we do have dual color paper, I'll just try to squeeze in the last pleat. Something like that. Now, it's not perfect. Now, if we did have our 5 flaps, that'd be better. But since this is all we got, this is like pretty good. So then we can just curl the fingers, shape the hand a little more, and overall, considering how little detail we start out with in the flap, this is pretty good. So this is just, and then, then we can go ahead and shape the wrist and just make it look like a good hand in general. Shape the thumb. Yeah. So considering how little detail we had, it's pretty impressive how much detail you can get in the final hand. It looks pretty good, pretty close enough. Maybe a curled fist or something. But the point is that if you take nothing away from this video, what you should know is that you don't need to plan out the fingers when you're planning your design. You don't need to create a whole flap for each finger. You can always just shape it usually later. And you can be creative. Like, this was just a corner flap. You can do things, for example, here's these 2 hands were made from edge flaps, so you just pleat. All you need is just the illusion of having fingers. You don't need to separate them. You just have the thumb and then 4 connected fingers. Same thing on this side, just some pleats to make it look like fingers. This guy's a little different because his hand has an actual pose. So this one you have a thumb, the index finger, and then these guys are basically all the same. So again, and this was a center flap. So the point is you can just be creative. This hand is something similar to what we did just now, just the horizontal line and the illusion of pleats. And then this girl is basically exactly what we just did just now. So anyways, the point of this video is that here's a quick way you can incorporate hands, greatly improve the quality of your design. Rather than just having a square hand, you can do something like this, just out of nowhere. Alright, have fun, good luck, and go design stuff.